Every year, thousands of children are being incarcerated into child behavior modification programs. The largest of these behavior modification programs is called WASP, which is the Worldwide Association of Specialty Programs. When WASP first opened its doors in the 90s, the program became instantly popular. They opened schools all over the United States and in different countries. By 2002, over 20 of these schools have begun to be shut down, because that's when all the lawsuits break out, when there was different lawsuits for child abuse, child neglect, fraud, things of those nature. The schools have begun to be accused of unhealthy living conditions also. In 2006 alone, there was 133 lawsuits of different people who went to the schools claiming that the school abused them and that parents were tricked into sending their kids there. Currently, 7 of these schools are still open. These schools need to be shut down because they are causing irreversible emotional damage on today's youth. Children being put into these programs are being put against their will. Many of these parents who are sending their children there are hiring an outside organization to kidnap their children in the middle of the night, drag them to these schools without their knowing or without their permission. There have been different accounts of children being locked in cages, hogtied, restrained, and food restrictions. Most of these schools have been shut down because of these things, but many are still open. Over the years, different survivors of the schools have come forward. There have been different organizations for survivors that have been open, such as WASP Diaries, Crafty, and YouthRights.org. Stories have started to emerge from different people who were there. One story is labeled "I Am a Captive" from Anonymous, and he talks about his stay in Tranquility Bay, America. His story goes, "I shivered and cried in the dark nightly as I tried to rest on my thin mattress, while loud Jamaican voices echoed through the corridor. Though we were never allowed to speak without permission, those who enforced such rules did so often and carelessly. I heard the screaming of children being restrained and injured on a daily basis. I saw those who needed medical attention denied care and writhing in pain. I heard whispered voices of atrocity I have tried to forget since. I ate food that made me sick. They were small portions of meat, mostly fat, with skin still stuck to the tough meat attached to it. There have also been other stories about being kidnapped in the middle of the night. One story, Danny Pryor, who was a graduate of Carolina Springs Academy, says he woke up in the morning with his mother crying. There was 2 men standing in his room. They dragged him out of bed, handcuffed him, and flew him to South Carolina. While he was there, he talks of the staff there strangling different kids, talks of food being in short supply, restraints, child abuse, and kids coming back from studying with bruises all over their arms and legs. His stay was only a year long in Carolina Springs Academy, which is a very short amount of time compared to what other kids are being locked up for. Many of these kids could stay in these schools for 3 to 4 years. They have no contact with their family to at least 6 months in the program. They have the option to write their family, but only on Sundays for an hour. And all of their letters are being filtered in and out. So if their dorm parent, who's in charge of the groups there, doesn't like what the child says or complains enough during it, they can withhold their letter and not send it out to their family. So many parents have no idea what is going on inside these schools. And these schools run on point system where in order to move up in levels, or 6 levels, they have to get a certain amount of points and pretty much apply for it, but you get demerits for things such as speaking, not keeping your feet together when you're eating, different things like that, not eating all your food. Many children gain a lot of weight or lose a lot of weight in these programs because of either the lack of food or the lack of condition of food. These schools need to be stopped.